In today's show, a local high school is taking steps for a possible name change.
Blood donations in the U.S. still follow the same rules during the AIDS crisis.
And a local professional team might have to change one of their traditions.
Welcome to KUJH. I'm Ryan Butler.
And I'm Madison Osberger-Lowe. Queer men are not able to donate blood unless they're abstinent for 3 months. A year ago, queer men had to remain abstinent for a year. This rule does not apply to anyone else. Reporter Fabian Rosales has more.
Every 2 seconds, someone in America needs blood. Just from one donation, you can save up to 3 lives, and roughly 6.8 million Americans donate annually. But there's still a large group of people that can't donate because of their sexual preference.
It makes me feel gross because it's like, I don't understand how we can act like we're all so progressive all the time, but then like still can't donate blood. Like there's proper testing that you could do. Just seems like lazy and derogatory.
So I was aware of the rule pretty early in high school because that was advertised as part of the blood donations. They would come through and do like the Red Cross would come through, and everyone would be able to give blood over either before school or during lunch or after school. And I was never allowed to participate, and that was made pretty clear.
The FDA states deferred for 3 months from the most recent sexual contact, a man who has had sex with another man during the past 3 months. All U.S. blood collection organizations must follow the federal requirement.
I still think that 3 months, asking for 3 months of abstinence from queer men when they don't ask 3 months of abstinence from anyone else is still a discriminatory practice there.
I don't understand why not I specifically, but like as a gay person have to withstand from sex for 3 months while straight people don't have to.
In 2018, there were approximately 36,400 reported HIV cases. Queer men made up 67% of cases.
For me, the only time that I really wanted to give blood was right after the Pulse Massacre. So I lived in Orlando for many years. I was visiting Orlando the week before the Pulse Massacre. I knew friends who were at the club that night. Right, that was a place I had gone many times, and I hurt so much waking up that morning and trying to figure out which of my friends were still alive, right? Who was still here with us, who was in the hospital, or who might be in the hospital, who am I not going to be able to contact again? And then knowing that there was so much blood that was being needed, and then to also watch the videos of people being turned away was hard. It was hard to do, and that was the time that I was like, this is the thing.
The FDA's main concern is what they call the window period. The window period is the time when the virus is contracted and when it's detectable. The risk is that someone can contract the virus and donate blood before it shows up in a test. Although since the 80s, tests have improved to where the window period is shortened and tests are more sensitive. A nucleic acid test can tell you if you have HIV in 10 to 33 days after exposure.
But our testing and our rapid results testing is very different now. It's been 40 years. This coming year, I believe, is the 40th anniversary. So there's been so many advances in technology, right? There's no way that we can't test that beforehand, and they're already running a variety of tests on the blood beforehand. So why not allow folks to donate blood, whether or not they've had sexual contact in whatever period of time they decide to ask for?
I reached out to the American Red Cross and they sent me a link to this statement. The American Red Cross seeks to build an inclusive environment that embraces diversity for all those who engage with our life-saving mission. As such, the Red Cross believes blood donation eligibility should not be determined by methods that are based upon sexual orientation and is committed to working with partners towards achieving this goal.
If you got rid of it entirely, yeah, you wouldn't, because like a lot of it has to do with the stigma behind gay men too. So it's like, if you got rid of it completely, I think more people would be willing to do it. Because it's like just being told no is like, okay, whatever, like I guess I just won't. So you're kind of just like a pessimist towards it.
After being excluded for 40 years and demonized in many ways because of that, right, they're going to have to do a lot. There's going to have to be a very large campaign to try to win that trust back, and I'm not sure if that trust can ever fully be won back.
This has been Fabian Rosales with KUJH News.
A local high school is taking steps for a possible name change after learning that the person the school is named after was in the KKK. Lane Gillespie has more.
I'm standing in front of the original high school in the Seaman Schools District that opened in 1920. This building is now the Seaman Administration Center. But this school district has been under heavy fire over the past few months after it was reported that their school district was named after a KKK leader. Well, now that administration is taking steps for a potential change.
Dr. Noble, our superintendent, reached out to me and offered me the opportunity to serve. So
Recently, the Seaman School District appointed a task force to gather opinions on a potential name change. Members of the task force are made up of current and former Seaman High School students.
our community feels very divided right now. So I think our biggest responsibility is just to try to listen to people's logic on both sides of the issue and just kind of give a safe place for all of those things to happen.
There's a lot of people that care about this issue, and a lot of people are going to be in the know, and they're going to be watching for however long this is going to take.
Support for the name change has reached around the country, whether that is through a petition, financially, or by protest. But Renee Cabrera says that they are not done yet.
We want to see future classes like myself being only a sophomore, not having to showcase Fred Seaman's name anymore.
The school board and the administration were unavailable for comment, but Superintendent Dr. Steve Noble said in a newsletter that he believes that the community will be stronger due to this process. This is Lane Gillespie reporting for KUJH.
After the break, we'll learn how the Kansas City Chiefs may have to change one of their traditions.
And how transgender KU students feel about recent laws about transgender people in sports. Stay with us.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. Next up, Jeremy takes a look at the Kansas City Chiefs' controversial tomahawk chop tradition.
I'm here at the home of the Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. One of Chiefs fans' favorite traditions is the tomahawk chop, but after the recent controversies with the Washington Redskins, a lot of people have been discussing the future of this beloved tradition.
Everyone's going to feel different, but as a fan, I enjoy it and I like doing it, but I realize that it's got some kind of bad history behind it, and so it might be a time to do away with it.
It perpetuates all the stereotypes that go along with the mascot. So I think it supports the fact that people wear headdresses, people make the chants, it perpetuates Native American being treated as caricatures.
I think that if there's people that are offended by it, and we need to have those discussions and think of something different that we can all use to kind of like show our fandom.
Natives, I believe, historically are treated as caricatures. When people met my dad for the first time, they were surprised that he didn't have long hair. No, he had short hair and wore overalls. So there's some, view of natives that they're always traditional and not contemporary in how we dress and how we live.
If people think it's the right time to change, that name, who am I to say no?
This is Jeremy Ingalls for KUJH.
Ariana Moore sat down with KJHK content director Cami Coons about why she joined KJHK and hopes to further her content making skills with a radio or music company.
What's up, Lawrence? You're listening to 90.7 KJHK.
KJHK content director Cami Coons started working at the station since freshman year. Coons explains why radio is important in her life.
I wanted to work in radio and music because music has always held like a really important spot in my life. It's always been a way that I've built a lot of my relationships with people, with friends, and so it's always been something I've been very passionate about.
Despite the pandemic, she is confident that her skills will spark interest to a news media company for a full-time position.
I'm well versed in video and audio and print, and also social media and kind of graphic design with that. I think that I'll really be able to bring that to whatever position I go to.
KJHK station manager Jay Achaka remembered Coons' vision for the station.
She came in with this vision of kind of completely reorganizing her part of the executive staff, so all of the content positions that she oversaw. She had this idea even before she got hired. She was working with the previous content director Fen, and they decided, it would be great if we had more of a newsroom structure.
I would say the J School gave me the foundation and the opportunities to be involved with these groups, but I really learned the most from the groups themselves.
This is Ariana Moore for
And coming up, we've got
KUJH.
some other great French tunes, so make sure you keep it locked here on 90.7.
With state legislatures creating bills relating to transgender people in sports, many people believe that they are being attacked. Zane Kanji sat down with Atlas and Christopher Oliveira to talk about what it means to be transgender.
When talking about transition, it's not just a magical, I go into the doctor and when I come out, yes, boy time. It's years of process. But my dad, it took most of the summer and a lot of teary-eyed, yelling matches and a lot of isolation to get him to, come to that. As soon as my mom, got into my corner, she's been my ally about this. I've spoken to her more in the past year than I, did my first year at KU. Center for Sexuality and Gender Diversity, although they never directly helped, it was a lot of talking to my therapist and doctors at Watkins, having the support of Chris Livietta, the director there, was very helpful and encouraging to let me know transphobic experiences that I had on campus aren't actually okay. Having that recognition does help, and I feel other trans students on campus can benefit a lot more from groups like SGD.
So our work now is about celebrating, uplifting, supporting, and doing advocacy work on behalf of the queer and trans community. So our work really is comprehensive. It can look like support-based work or triaging for students. Day-to-day can be things like kind of triaging when folks are in crisis, right? So we know that the queer and trans community is more likely to experience suicide ideation, but all of that is as a result of being more likely to experience bullying, discrimination, oppression, right? Folks are more likely to be fired. We're talking about a community that's more likely to experience homelessness or food insecurity, right? So our responsibility to our students is when students express that need, that we're able to connect them to the different projects that we have in place that help to address some of those needs. In the background, some of our administrative capacities are really being, for lack of a better phrase, the first line of defense in terms of creating policies and doing curricular work which help the KU community to make sense of how to better support QT folks.
This is Zane Kanji reporting for KUJH-TV.
I'm Madison Osberger-Lowe, and over the past few weeks I've had the opportunity to sit down with several professionals speaking about the sexual assault at KU. Take a look. The month of April is Sexual Assault Prevention Month. According to the Kansas City Star, more than a quarter of undergraduate women at the University of Kansas who participated in a national survey say that they have been sexually assaulted while they were at school, and nearly 15% of them say they were raped. I sat down with Deputy Chief John Dietz at Support Services for the KU Public Safety Office. He spoke about how many sexual assault crimes go unreported.
So here's the thing, you probably already know this about sexual assault, rape, sexual battery. Any of those kind of crimes are probably the lowest reported for what actually happens.
The assault or violence that occurred to them, or they can come to us and get resources and we can kind of point them in the right direction.
I visited with Chrissy Hagela in Lawrence, who is an executive director at the Sexual and Trauma Abuse Center.
People come to us because we're community-based. It doesn't matter if you're a student, it doesn't matter if you're anyone affected by sexual violence is available.
KU officials said that since 2012, the percentage of students who say they know how to file a sexual harassment complaint and whom to contact has increased from 20.3% to 62.2%. This is Madison Osberger-Lowe reporting for KUJH.
Coming up next, we'll learn more about a Lawrence High School athlete.
And we'll learn more about athletes struggling with eating disorders. Stay with us.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became Pioneers, Voyagers, Champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. I'm Ariana Moore. Up next, Keegan Hewitt had the opportunity to talk to a Lawrence High basketball player about his senior season during the pandemic.
Zeke Mayo, point guard for the Lawrence High Lions, took us through his senior season and his experiences through the global pandemic.
To start the season, it was pretty different because everybody's sitting at home early in November just watching this the Acacia meeting, whether we were going to have our season played or not.
The Lions finished the season 21-2 overall. Mayo scored 40 points and 29 of his 40 in the fourth quarter in Lawrence High's 71-63 loss in the Kansas 6A semifinal to Blue Valley North.
It was obviously the Final Four, and I know it meant a lot to the coach and to some of the other guys just because it was probably their first time being there, playing on that big stage. But for me personally, I just took it as another game. We started off pretty slow. It wasn't the start that we wanted, but I'm proud of us for our fight.
Mayo is known in his community for his strong work ethic and his winning mentality on and off the court. He has helped lead the Lions to the state tournament all 4 of his high school years.
Zeke Mayo has the heart and the mindset of a champion. The focus is not just on who he is as a person, he helps others rise to the highest level. And because of that, everyone around him is successful and he also rises to the top.
Zeke Mayo is a 3-star commit to South Dakota State University and will be joining the Jackrabbits this fall. This is Keegan Hewitt with KUJH.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, sports have struggled to bring fans back to stadiums to attend games. KU has had strict restrictions when it comes to fan attendance. However, it looks like that by the fall, fans can attend games in greater numbers. Nathaniel Duncan has the story.
Today is one of the last athletic events that KU is hosting this season. Today, KU is hosting Baylor in baseball. How many fans have been able to attend the season due to the COVID-19 pandemic? But as more and more people are getting vaccinated, more fans are able to attend. The plan is by the beginning of the fall that more than half the football stadium will be filled. Maybe by the end of the fall, more and more people can attend basketball games at Fall Gallon and make the building full again. The process has been long and hard for KU this year as they've lost money on many athletic events. However, there's a trend upward.
At the start of the semester in February, KU sports were still very strict on attendance and COVID policy.
Yeah, I think it's fairly safe. They make a good effort of holding up signs between every commercial break, or not even that, just to show you that you need to have your mask up. They'll definitely tell you, as soon as they see it under your nose, they'll tell you you need to put your mask on.
Athletes also have had a tough time during the pandemic, such as track athlete Ben Butler, who's graduating this semester, may never see stadiums full with fans again.
I am looking forward to having fans again. It is weird competing with nobody watching. Recently we've been fortunate. We've had limited capacity for some events, so it hasn't been completely empty, but still it's definitely nothing like it was.
I think the players definitely, you could tell how they play that maybe COVID is affecting them, and how the not lack of fans, but just not that same environment is there to help them play to the best of their ability.
Well, I think KU Athletics has handled it, as best as they can. Just like a lot of athletic departments, I think nobody really knew how to react when it first kind of hit. But I think it's definitely affected preparation. I think teams' readiness for the upcoming seasons.
After not holding its spring game last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, KU will once again be holding its annual spring football game on May 1st at 6 o'clock. This will be the new standard for events while still having COVID-19 restrictions. KU football will hope to have at least 50% capacity starting in the fall. Reporting for KUJH, this is Nathaniel Duncan.
Ryan Butler tells us how and why many athletes are struggling with eating disorders.
Eating disorders are far too common in athletics today. Experts at KU say that it's related to social factors and the perfectionist mindset that high-level athletes have.
Everyone is experiencing the social pressures that we have to be a lower weight or diet culture. We're seeing that in the media with how we're raised, with just our peers. Then on top of that, athletes have that performance mindset that makes them really successful at their sport can also lead to some behaviors that might lead them to think food is something that is also part of that.
I always wanted to think that I wasn't part of that, didn't have an eating disorder whatsoever. But then the year after I graduated, I looked back on it and I started to realize, yeah, actually, like I had a problem. So I wrestled for 3 years from Blue Valley Northwest, and I was in the weight class of 132. Naturally, my weight back in high school was about 155, so you can imagine me cutting 23 pounds. And maintaining that weight was so hard for me because I had no energy. I was burning 5,000 calories a day and only eating maximum of 1,000 calories. That's how little I was eating with how much I was actually exercising. Going from 3 pancakes for breakfast with a glass of water to nothing for lunch, maybe a protein bar, and to something very small for dinner with very, very few carbs and stuff like that, just made me realize how dangerous it really is.
We want to see coaches promoting a whole athlete mindset focused on the wellness, the health, the performance, the happiness of athletes. And then from there, the sports nutrition being tied in with the team health, collaborating with the medicine, with the trainers, so that we can all work together and make sure we're supporting athlete health.
After the break, we'll talk about the upcoming finals week. Stay with us.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Finals is approaching for the 2020-21 spring semester. This semester has been filled with tests and assignments, and not having spring break has led to burnout. So what do you think about this coming finals?
This upcoming finals, I think, is kind of been stressful for all of us. But
Yeah.
Since the spring semester is approaching quickly and ending, I think it would be good for us to kind of get a break.
Yeah, sweet. I'm excited for the summer.
That will do it for us. Make sure to tune in to KUJH at 4 p.m.
Have a great rest of your Wednesday.